Well, the Haslett Robotics Club is a good place for kids to meet, to explore robotics, to learn the process, the engineering process behind the robotics, how they develop, how they should work together as a team. And it creates a very nice community in which they can learn a lot of things that they would learn, or life skills that they would need to learn later on in life. So robotics is going to be part of our future in many different ways. We're all going to encounter robots or programming or teamwork in many aspects of our lives as we're going forward, especially the younger generations. Now, as such, robotics is not a cheap sport to participate in. So the club gives the opportunity for all kids to basically learn these skills, to explore, to see if this is something they would like to get into, get acquainted with it, and it just gives a good environment and other like-minded kids that can join. So they all can learn robotics, and hopefully some of them would go on and make this part of their lives going into the future.
I mean, I really like the entire process of how just the teamwork and the sportsmanship coming along with it, working with other teams, seeing what they're up to.
For me, I also really like how it's like a teamwork sport and, you know, you're really working together.
I enjoy being part of the Robotics Club as I'm surrounded by a community of people with the same interests as me.
Yeah, it's really nice to have, you know, a whole group of people that love doing the same thing that you do.
Well, as robotics is going to be a much bigger part of our future, and our kids need to learn much more about robotics, both in school and out of school, I would like to see the Robotics Club grow into something much bigger, where there's more space available, more equipment available, more coaches hopefully available, to be able to expose much more kids to robotics very early on in life, and to foster the enjoyment that comes with this, and so that this can grow to not be just a sport, but also to become part of people's lives, many kids' lives, and inspire them to go into careers that is in this field.
I'm Cate Waters, and I'm 16, and I wrote Dobson and the Birthday Surprise, which is a children's book about the time I got my dog Dobson. He was a surprise birthday present for my 8th birthday. The book just follows that story when I got him. I definitely looked at a lot of other children's books when I was going through the process of editing and kind of coming up with illustration ideas, which we got most of our illustration ideas from different elementary classes, but just to kind of figure out the layout of a children's book, how other children's books, how they flow, how the story goes on. Well, when I was in 6th grade, I wrote a personal narrative about the time I got Dobson. And at our parent-teacher conferences, my mom mentioned to my teacher, Mrs. Chiskowski at Haslett Schools, that the story sounded like a children's book. And she kind of asked if we were serious about that, and we said yes. So I went on independent study that year, and that kind of got me into the process of editing the book and really started on creating it, turning it into a children's book.
I think the one thing that is the heartwarming part of it are the kids that just surround her, not just physically when they want to get a picture with her after a book signing, but emotionally they want to know, they want to know about Dobson, and then they see a picture of him and they're like, well, he's a different color, and then she'll talk about how that breed will change colors. And I think that whole kind of the vibe she gets when she speaks with little kiddos about it. We're hoping to offer a birthday party package where she would read the book at a birthday party and then personally sign books for all the kids that are in attendance. So I think just the proud factor is the part I want to get across.
I think I'm proud of all of it, but if I had to choose a specific part, I would just say the whole process of editing in general and making the changes necessary to really publish it and going through that whole process and creating new ideas. I'd say the hardest part was also editing the book and kind of coming up with a good flow of words that younger kids would understand, but it'd also be really interesting to the reader. I'd like to turn it into a series. There's a lot of stories about Dobson. I mean, he's 8 years old now, and I have a cat named Hannah, so there's a story of when they met. So I just would like to turn it into a series about all of Dobson's different adventures. We self-published, and we have an amazing illustrator, Dawn Balmer from Eaton Rapids, and she really helped us lay out the book and get it to a part where we could send it to a printing company. It was really fun writing the story and going through the whole process of publishing. I had a lot of help from my 6th grade language arts teacher, Mrs. Chiskowski. She was awesome. Richard Baldwin, who he's passed, but he was my neighbor and also an author. And just all my friends at the party who made it a special day.
Natalie Hood is a typical Haslett High School student who enjoys playing tennis, hanging out with friends, and traveling. During her sophomore year, she was assigned a civic action project where she was to come up with a solution to an issue. Instead of just turning in the assignment and forgetting about it, Natalie decided to take action and start a fundraiser.
Well, I'm Natalie's mom, and she had a school assignment that involved a lot of brainstorming and trying to figure out what kind of civic action project she wanted to do. She just knew that she really wanted to make it something meaningful and something actionable, not just something that you kind of went through the formalities and just got a grade for. So
it started with my government project, and I didn't want it to be something I wanted it to be something that could make a real difference, and I wanted it to be something that also interested me, and I love, like little kids and arts and crafts, so I thought this would be a good idea.
The fundraiser, which was posted on Venmo and shared on social media, began to gain a lot of traction online.
I think we were all a little surprised at how it just kind of got its own legs and it took off. I know Natalie, we agreed that we were going to use the adult social media pages to spread the word, and she was like, I'm a little nervous, Mom. Like, well, how's this going to work? I'm like, I don't know. We'll just see what happens. And I think we posted it at 9:30 at night, and by 10 she was like, Mom, I have like $400, and it just kind of took off and went from there. So that was really exciting to see, and I think it was just an easy thing for people to contribute to help make a difference. So that was exciting.
I've learned so much. The community has been great and been very supportive, and I also learned, social media kind of has like a negative connotation sometimes, and I think I learned and saw like how social media can have a positive impact, because that's how I reached out to most people to get the donations, which has been really great. This issue, I think that kids can feel more included and feel like they belong more, and they can feel more represented at school, which can help them with their education.
I think when we saw it kind of ramp up and take off, it was kind of like, oh gosh, like this is maybe going to be a really successful thing. So pleasantly surprised in a way that helped remind you that social media can be a good thing, that we had response from all over the country from kind of distant connections and friends of friends, and it was nice to remember that social media can be used for such a good purpose too.
My goal was $950. I did achieve it by a lot. I actually ended up getting $2,800, which I did not expect at all, and I am so thrilled that I got that much money. In fact, it was enough money to not only support Wilkshire, but also support Murphy and Raleigh, which is really great.
I think as a parent, I just hope Natalie can learn the power of one person, how one person can make a difference, that you can just start with an idea and take a few risks, and that one person really does have the power to make a lot of difference in the world. I'm just really proud of her. It's just fun watching her become a young adult and kind of become her own person and be out there ready to do good things in the world.
My name is Adrienne Gelardi, and I am the artist, owner, manager, painter, everythinger of Art of Adrienne. Growing up, I really liked bright colors, cute furry animals, and cartoons. So I always knew I was going to do something related to artwork. I actually studied traditional animation at Columbia College, Chicago. I didn't end up really working in animation, but now I've found myself painting murals in mid-Michigan and in Ohio. So I like to paint murals in local areas. So I bought my first house and I had to paint the entire house. It was a wood house and the paint was really ugly light blue. So it took forever, like years, for me to finish painting my house. And the last thing to paint was I wanted to paint a really cool front door. And I hated the color that I picked. So instead of admitting that I was wrong, I decided to jazz it up. And I painted this white floral line art design on it. And then I kind of just started painting doors, and that led to painting furniture, painting trash cans, painting all sorts of things. So one of the best moments of my career so far is when my favorite apple orchard from childhood, Wyard's Orchard in Ypsilanti, contacted me to do a mural for them, and they picked, the most detailed mural, and I mean, they just let me run wild with it, and it's super cool, and it's going to be debuting this fall at Wyard's Orchard in Ypsilanti. Have I gotten the support that I wanted? Actually, my family's been really supportive. They always, I don't think they were thrilled about me choosing to become an artist. They definitely weren't thrilled about me quitting my day job to become an artist. But they have always supported me, and I totally could not have done it without them. So I actually just bought a van that my boyfriend and I are converting into a camper van. And the plan is to be able to travel much further than just Michigan to do murals. Currently, I've done murals near Detroit, all over mid-Michigan around Lansing. I've done some in Ludington and also in Huron, Ohio. If you're doing something you don't want to do, you're probably doing it because you need the paycheck. If you can get out of there, do whatever you can. Save up a little bit every month if you can, get a savings, and start working towards your goal. Definitely, if people are treating you poorly, say bye. My advice is be yourself, find your artistic voice, and it just takes time in general. Don't be stressed out that you're not where someone else is that's further along in their career. Honestly, it's gonna take time no matter what. Just know that, and know that as long as every day you're, putting a little bit more and more towards that goal, you're gonna get there eventually. Unless there's a giant pandemic.